So today we want to talk about a project that is, taking over in this crypto space. It is actually a decentralized project built on a blockchain that we're going to talk about called the juchain. But before we go into that, I just want to start off first of all by saying my name is Kojo, Blockchain Kojo. I'm not a financial advisor. Anything you hear here today is not considered financial advice. My goal here is to scour the crypto space, analyze different opportunities, and figure out what's going to work, what's going to help the people in my community. And then I do my job to at least share the information so people can be aware. And what I'll tell you is we have found an opportunity that I believe almost no one in the industry within South America, North America, the Caribbean, Africa has heard of, in Australia as well, right? This is something that is built within the Asian Pacific market mainly, and some parts of Europe. In fact, this project, JBank, was created by a centralized exchange called Ju.com. Now, for those of you that don't know Ju.com, they used to be called Jucoin Exchange. They've been in the industry since 2013. In fact, I believe they are actually in direct competition with Binance because once you understand what's going on here, you would figure out why this company that made this beautiful exchange that has been around since 2013, that today alone, they've done over 24.9 billion in trading volume with about 55 million accounts created so far worldwide. Within their exchange, you can do anything from trading futures and, in the market, you can even buy stocks. You can do so much on this exchange. So definitely the person that invited you would have a code for you to just join the exchange if you're interested in, switching over from your Binance or your KuCoin or whatever to use something that is very innovative. They make trading easy, okay? But this is not why we are here. But this is the reason why this project was created. These are the people that created this opportunity we're going to learn about called JBank. Now, JBank is a staking protocol where you and I can literally stack up our crypto up to 25x in a year, right? What does this mean? It means that through their system that they created, and I'm just going to go straight into the PDF so we can dive into that, right? So JBank created by Ju.com. Ju.com also created the blockchain called juchain on which JBank operates. Right, this blockchain was created on the 1st of May 2025. Like I said, they are literally in direct competition with Binance, but the only thing here is they are now creating their smart chain, which is going to help them integrate into all the different markets. As you know, Binance is a centralized exchange that is huge, but your blockchain is one of the reasons why everyone uses Binance because you still have to go buy the BNB from Binance, or you want to buy their USDT on Binance and move it over to your Trust wallet, which is also a wallet that is quote unquote owned by Binance at the moment. So Ju.com is doing the same thing. They have their own decentralized wallet, right? And they have their own blockchain, and they have built a staking protocol which we're going to talk about. So they went over to Token 2049. The CEO of this exchange, who's also the CEO overseeing the entire ecosystem, including JBank, spoke over there, and she said some really great things. You can go watch the video on YouTube. Um, but yeah, that's who we are working with here today. You go on CoinMarketCap, you can see their spot trading volume. In fact, this project is backed by this exchange that is sitting on $500 million in crypto reserves. So the days of, oh, is this thing a coin gonna crash and no one is gonna use the coin? I believe, now my opinion, that is hard for something like that to happen with this project because this exchange can market any token to their customers over 55 million on their exchange. So they can literally maintain their ecosystem and keep it going. Okay. So their blockchain currently has about 4 million wallets that are on it, which you look at Binance, over 100 million plus wallets on the BNB Smart Chain. So once again, this is like being a part of Binance early. And once again, we know in crypto, being early is the very most important factor Everything else, skill sets and all of that can come in later. But if you can just be early, you're lucky. That's what being early means, being lucky, right? In crypto. Now they have their own app. You want to download it from the Apple Store, Google Store, right? Android. It's called the Ju.com app. Now in this app, when you go in the app, folks, here's the thing. It's always going to ask you to sign up for the exchange. You don't have to sign up for the exchange. At the very top, where we would say exchange, you would click on the arrow at the top. As you can see, I'm pointing right here. There'll be a section right here. You would click on it and you would choose Web3. That's how you get access to the Web3 wallet. As you can see, their app has 3 different functions all within one app. Okay. So it's not just sign up for the exchange. No, you can switch over to the Web3 wallet, which is decentralized, 12 words, all of that, seed phrase and all of that, and their payment service for their card. We'll look at that as well. Okay. So here, JBank is a protocol created to basically be their first decentralized banking protocol built on the Olympus DAO model. Now, you don't have to know what Olympus DAO is, but Olympus DAO is basically a staking project that was created over 6, 7 years ago and still exists today, and people are still earning today, and no one stole anyone's money. That's the part I want you guys to understand. They have created the exact same system in their ecosystem. Okay. Now, in order to stake, you're going to need their token called Jupe. Now, you can only get Jupe from their blockchain. You have to swap one of any other token, either USDT, which is you have to bridge onto their blockchain, or you can get USDT from, their centralized exchange. Once you send it, it will ask you for the network. You can select the juchain network. So you're gonna move the token, the USDT or the gas fee token, the JU token, onto your Web3 wallet, and then you can swap it for Jupe. Not the Jupiter on Ethereum and on Solana. Don't go around typing it online trying to find Jupe. You can only buy it from JBank through the swap. Okay, that's the only place you can get Jupe, right here. Okay, that's the only place you can get Jupe. And then you stake it and then you earn. So let's talk about how that works, okay? Now they have 3 different tiers. Let me see if there's yes, they have 3 different tiers you can come in. You can decide to lock your crypto into a staking contract for 365 days. You can decide to lock your crypto in the staking contract for just 180 days. Or you can say, you know what? I don't like the idea of locking anything. I want to be flexible. You have the option to choose that. But let's talk about your earnings if you decide to, right? Now, in crypto, one of the secrets that I learned from a lot of people that have been in this space way longer than I have and way more successful than I have, I'm talking about people with 7 and 8 figure crypto portfolios. The reason why they were able to hold on to their portfolios was really a simple trick. And they explained it to me. They said, Kojo, asset accumulation will always beat price appreciation. I'm going to explain that again, right? What that means. Asset accumulation will always beat price appreciation. If I give you 1 Bitcoin when Bitcoin was $100 a token, and Bitcoin goes to right now, let's say 70,000 today's price, you can sell it. You have won. You have done what everybody's looking to do in crypto, which is make a lot of money from a little bit, $100 to 70,000. But the minute you sell your Bitcoin, you no longer have Bitcoin. And so when Bitcoin goes to 250,000, you would say, I wish I hadn't sold my initial holding. Okay. But for those who understand asset accumulation, what they did in the early stages of Bitcoin is that they went and bought the miner instead of buying the coin. Hear me out. They went and bought the software that creates the crypto every day rather than just buying the token. And even some of those who bought the token early, what they did is that they locked it in a staking contract on other protocols that allowed them to borrow someone else's crypto and go risk that in the market. They never sold their stake. They never sold what they started with. And they accumulated assets on top of it, and they keep spending the assets they accumulate without ever touching their initial stake. That is why a lot of these people are wealthy in crypto. So that is the same secret passed on that we're going to use this project to do. We're going to accumulate assets. Now, if you decide to choose the flexible, where you don't lock your crypto, you would earn 0.1% every 8 hours compounded on top of your capital. So for example, you earn $10 and it compounds on top of, for example, let's just say 1,000, you have 1,010. 8 hours later, your 1,010 will now earn 0.1%. So let's say at some point you have 1,200. The 1,200 will now earn 0.1% the next 8 hours. Any dollar that comes on top of your capital, the entire thing compounds again in 8 hours. This is a very massive wealth building system. So even at this rate, your first day you would do 0.3%. In your first month, you would earn 9.41%, right? And by your first 6 months, you would have done 71.5%. And then within a year, you would have 200% gain. So $1,000 would have turned to $3,000. You have 2,000 in profit if you never made a withdrawal. And this is flexible. So at any point in time, you can pull out your capital. So for those of you that are comfortable with, these numbers, this is for you, right? Less, almost no risk because your capital is not locked. You just come in any day you feel, you're not comfortable and just pull it out, sell it, right? But for some of us that are really trying to build wealth, once again, asset accumulation will always be price appreciation. I'm not looking at the price of the token. I'm looking at how many tokens I can collect from this system. If you decide to lock in for 180 days, you earn 0.2% every 8 hours being compounded. So within your first day, you have 0.6%. Within your first month, you have 19.7%. Within your first 6 months, you have doubled your crypto. So if you had uh, 1,000 coins, maybe valued at $100,000, those 1,000 coins would have doubled to 2,000 coins extra. So now you had 3,000 coins, right? And then you multiply it by the price of the coin at the time. So your coins will always increase. The price, whatever the price is, if the price goes up 50%, hey, you just multiply the number of coins you have by the price. Right now, the price of the Jupe token is at $8.45. It's most likely to go to $20. So we're not looking at the price. We just want to have so much coins that when the price goes up, we feel comfortable to sell some profits. Within your first year, you would have produced 800% more coins. So your one Bitcoin will be now 8 Bitcoin extra. You have 9 Bitcoins in total. So this is what this system is doing for us right now. If you choose the 365-day contract, you will earn 0.3% every 8 hours compounded. That means that in your first day, you would have earned 0.9%. This is the magical number. Most people are looking for a platform that can pay at least 1% a day. Folks, this is your deal. Come for the 365. Within your first day, you have 0.9. Within your first month, because of the compounding, you will make a lot more than if it was just 0.9 a day. You had 30.94%. Within your first 3 months, you double your crypto, 2x. Within your first 6 months, you have 400%. So within 6 months alone, you can pull out 400% in profit in coins while your initial stake is still sitting in the contract earning for you. Asset accumulation will always beat price appreciation. And if you could dare to leave it for 1 year to compound, you would have earned over 2,500% in coins, which is going to be 25x meaning that if I started with $1,000 in a year, if I never withdrew, I would be able to pull out profits alone of $25,000 worth of coins. Now, if the price of the coin went up, it would be way more than that. This is just based off the number of coins you start with being 25x in coins. The price can always change. In fact, the price could go down 50%. So rather than $25,000, I would have half of $25,000 in a year. But that would still be $13,000 from 1,000, way more than anyone will be making, even holding just Bitcoin or some kind of token, thinking it's going to go up. Because rather than expect the price to appreciate, I will rather accumulate the asset. So this is the passive side, folks. Anyone can do this. All you need is a decentralized wallet. All you need to do is to have your token, right, which you can buy from your centralized exchange and move it onto the wallet and then swap it for JUP. Or you can bridge your assets. We'll teach you all of that. We have videos for that, folks. Just get with the person that invited you, or you follow through into any of our groups from wherever you're watching this video, and you can be a part of our community. Okay, now let's talk about withdrawing your profits, right? Because yes, now you've made these profits. You want to take profits. You should take profits, right? So how does that work? Now, this mechanism is designed to ensure that their token doesn't just pump and dump and crash, right? Because if you have an entire ecosystem where people are making massive gains, you have to control how your token is being released so that you're not just dumping on the market. So what they do is that they have a burning mechanism, which number one, reduces supply, increases demand. So you know how that works already, right? So every time you withdraw, this is what happens. If I have $1,000 in profit, for example, and I want to withdraw, the first thing that's going to happen, if I choose to have my $1,000 released to me in 20 days, they will burn 25% of it. If I want to have my 1,000 released to me in 180 days, they will charge no burning fee. So how does this work, right? This is the example. You put in 10,000, you made 3,000 this month, and you say, you know what, I want to pull out my 3,000. This is my profit. I got to pay these bills. When you initiate the withdrawal, 25% is instantly burned. You have 2,200 and 250 now left, and they start to release it to you. The contract is going to break it into 20 pieces. This is the easiest way to understand it, right? Your $2,250 will be broken up into 20 equal pieces, and you will get one piece every day. So that is the same as they're releasing it within 20 days. So day one, you get $112, right? You divide it by 20, your total amount. So if you wanted to pull out 1,000, you divide 1,000 by 20. If you had $50 and you were withdrawing, you divide the $50 by 20. And you would get one piece every day till the 20 days where you have gotten everything. This is how they ensure that you and I can keep enjoying a good price appreciation on the token. So why should an individual join JBank, right? Because, they're out there, there are a lot of different staking protocols, 5% a day, 1% a day, it's the same, even some of them have also copied the Olympus DAO model, right? So, it's this other projects that will say they also compound every 8 hours. But what is the main difference that separates this project from the rest? Show me a project that can tell you that they were created by a crypto exchange that's been around, the same level of Binance and Coinbase, that has been around since 2013, understood everything in crypto, been through all the ups and downs, have real credibility on the market. They have so much to lose, $24 billion a day in trading volume. They do not need your $50, your $10,000, your 1 million. They don't need our money. They need users. That is what they need. People using their ecosystem, not our money. They have that. $450 million in reserves. They have that already. They need people using their ecosystem. So you can show me a project that is backed by a trusted exchange created by a trusted exchange. Also, you can earn. You can earn very, very well. You know, some protocols are paying 300% a year, right? 500% a year. We are doing 2,500% a year. Show me somebody that's doing that. The next thing is this entire token is the basis of your banking ecosystem. It has a use case. This is not, you know, a pump and dump coin and no one else is buying it, because that's the one thing I ask myself in crypto price. I'm like, who else is going to buy the token outside of the people doing the ROI or the MLM? Just that's the most important thing to me. And if I can find a use case for it, I like it. If there's no use case, then I'm like, this could be short-lived. I will still probably get excited about it because I like crypto, but I'm not thinking 12 months and 24 months and 3 years with the token, because there's no reason for anyone to hold it. But here, this is the payment token, right, of your banking system. And we'll look at the crypto bank card. Today, you can get access to a bank card and they will ship it to you. We'll explain how that works, okay? Now, if you can stake inside this protocol at least $3,000 worth of their token, you will get access to the banking card called the JBank card. This JBank card is a crypto business Visa card. You will get it for free if you have over $3,000 staked in the protocol. Now, the bank that created or helped them create this bank card that gives them the access to the banking licenses is called GAT Bank Malaysia. Now, if you know anyone in Malaysia, you can call them today and tell them to go find where this bank is, or tell you this bank is legit. This is a big, legitimate bank globally. Inside of our JBank card, we will be able to log into GAT Bank. We'll be able to receive wire transactions from around the world, and we'll be able to send wire transactions as well. A lot of crypto cards are out there. All you do is put your crypto and spend it. You can't do anything else. You can receive wires with this card. So I urge you, if you can afford to stake 3,000 or more, you can grow your stake till you get to 3,000. Hey, guess what? Apply for the card. Okay? So now we've talked about the passive side. Let's go over to the affiliate side. You know, if you decide you want to share this project because, first of all, you're making money and you don't want to be alone, it's exciting, you want to help other people. This is one thing that we really push in our communities. You know, you find something good, don't be the only one in the corner sitting down making, you know, all these gains. At least share and let us know what's going on, right? So here you have 4 types of commissions you can earn. Right now, the first one, which everyone gets, is called the direct level commission. Now, how this works is we don't earn any direct deposit bonuses, no. But every profit your directs are going to earn, you get 10%. So if I put somebody who comes in, says, you know, Kojo, I like this project, I'm going to put in 100,000, right? And they earn, for example, let's say $1,000 a day. I'm going to get 10%, $100 every day. Whether I put only $50 in my account, whether I only put $1,000 in my account, I will earn 10% of what my directs earn every single 8 hours, not even a day, every 8 hours. So I can, if I wanted to just withdraw that every 8 hours, I can come in and withdraw it. Every 8 hours, I can withdraw. Okay. Also, we earn uni-level profit shares, same rank bonus, and new group staking. So let me go ahead and explain that, right? Now, how do you get started, folks? You know, very simple. The minimum to get started is 5 jupe in order to be active to earn. So if you have at least $50 worth of USDT, you can go ahead and bridge it or send it over to the decentralized exchange and send it out in their blockchain version. You know, as you can have TRC20, BEP20, ERC20. They have juchain network, but you have to get on their exchange to use their network, right? So once again, we have all the videos, the text, screenshots of how to do everything. Just get the link from whoever invited you. Follow through with the video, the PDF we send you, and you can get started. It's not difficult, right? So yeah, also understand that in your commissions, you can only earn up to 4x and you have to stake some more. So for example, if I put in $1,000, I'm not just gonna make 1 million without reinvesting. No. Every time I earn 4x, I'm gonna have to put something back into the ecosystem to give me another 4x, right? So this ensures that teams will grow in volume. Even with no new members coming, everyone is going to be compounding something, and your volume will just grow, and your ranks will increase, and your bonuses will increase. So this is good for every leader. Now, also as investors, sometimes you build a team and you forget to invest more because you're like, oh, I'm making money from the team, but now you're kind of, you're compelled to put in more. So you're helping yourself to have more inside this system, more skin in the game, okay? And then you can also earn more. So how it works is they have 11 ranks. The first one is called the V1. Now, what I'm telling everyone in the team is that I believe everyone is a V1 automatically because V1 is only $2,000 in volume. In fact, I think I hit V1 in my first 24 hours, probably even less than that, right? Everyone is a V1. You can use your own capital to be V1, right? And I'll tell you why this is a genius idea for those of you that are here for the first time or already in the system. If you can afford it, just turn yourself into a V1. There's a massive benefit behind it, right? So your account can have a minimum of $50, and once you share with people and you have 2,000 in volume, become a V1. Now remember, you will always earn 10% on what your directs make every day. So if all this 2,000 was just from one person or five people direct to you, for example, and it's this 2,000, for example, earns $20 a day, you get 10% of the $20 every day. Now, on top of that, as a V1, you get another 10% of your entire organization's profit every day. So this same 2,000 is making $20 a day. You get another 10% a day. So if you're a V1 and all the volume was on your direct level, technically you're getting 20% of your team's daily profit. So if this was your own money as well, you will be earning 20% on what your own money is making. So why not do it this way? Create your first account, sign up, and create account. Call it account number 2, right underneath. And you put your 2K right there. Okay. Now let's look at the next rank. The next rank is V2. V2 just simply means you have 10,000 in volume. In fact, you can hit all these ranks with just one person invited. You don't have to have 10 people, 5 people, 8 people, all of those kind of requirements. Just one person who shares can take you to V4, but you don't want to stop at V4. Okay, so we'll explain why. Right? So you can have more than one direct is uni level. You can have 50 directs, 80 directs, 100 directs, but even just one. This goes to show that even the people who don't really have a large community and probably just, you've been through a lot, you just don't want to, you don't feel confident enough to share opportunities anymore. You can just share with one person, and if they build a team or they put a lot of money, you can go to V4. You can go to V4 with your own capital. Okay, we'll get to that. So for now, you're at V2. V2 is where you have 10,000 in volume. At this point, right? Remember, already you're earning 10% on all your directs. So if all this 10,000 was on your direct level, it earns $100 a day, for example, you get 10%, $10 a day. It doesn't end there. If all this is direct to you, guess what? Already, even if it's not direct to you, as a V2, you get 20% of your entire team's daily ROI. Now, these profit shares goes to infinity. So if somebody is 500 levels deep, it don't matter. You're getting paid. Okay, so you get an extra 20% on your team's daily ROI. Now, if you have someone that's a V1 on any of your legs, you cannot get 20% from their leg you get 20 minus 10, only 10% from that person's ecosystem, okay? But once again, if all this volume is direct to you, then you get the whole 20%. So if this 10,000 earns $100 a day, guess what? You earn 10% plus 20%, 30% of the $100 every single day. Folks, this is why I'm giving you the source on how to max this system. This is what we do on our team. We always show people how to use the system and milk the most out of it. That is what we give on our team. We give you the strategies, we do all the research, and we come here and we put you on, right? Now, V3. V3 is someone who has 20,000 in volume. So whether you share with 5 people and they share with 3 people, 8 people, and the whole team volume is 20,000, you're good. You're V3, right? Even if you share with one person who builds an entire network of 20,000, you are a V3. Okay? Remember, you always get 10% from your directs. So it's very important to still build some directs, right? But here's the catch. If all of this volume was direct to you, especially for those of you who can afford it, you'd be your own V3, right? Or you had 3 people put in 10K each. Guess what? V3, right? You get 30% of your entire team's daily ROI. If there's anyone that's a V2, they only allow you to get 30 minus 20 from that leg, right? So I'll give you a quick example. You have a V1 here. Then you have a V2 here. And then you have a no rank here, right? So the V1, you get 30 minus 20 of that person's daily ROI from their team or from themselves, right? If someone is a V2 here, you get 30 minus 20 from their organization that's coming here. And if this person or people are just investors and they didn't build a team, you get the whole 30%, the whole thing. So if they make 1,000 a day here, you get 300 every day from just that one person, right? So that is how that works, okay? Now, V4, this is where you have 60,000 in volume. At this point, you are getting 40% on your entire team's daily ROI, okay? Already, you're going to get 10% of the daily ROI of your directs in addition to this 40%. Now, once again, if someone is a rank below you, you get the difference, but if there's no one there, and this is all volume direct to you, the 60,000 will earn $600 a day. If this is all direct to you, think about it. If it's earning $600 a day, you get 10% of it, $60 every day. And you get 40% of the whole $600 a day as well. That's almost 270 or 260 or $70 a day. A day from just the volume being direct to you. Okay? Now there's something called new group staking. Once you hit V3 and above, anytime new volume, not compounded income, because they know people will be compounding, your volume is going to grow. You're not looking at that. You're looking at brand new deposits in your organization. They give you an extra 5% of the daily ROI. Folks, this is where you create wealth. Don't sit back. Don't be a spectator. Just do what we're doing. We've seen this opportunity and we're going all in because we understand timing is everything in crypto. The bull market is not here yet. It's going to delay all this commotion going around. This is your time to actually stack up some crypto so you can afford to buy the Bitcoins and the Solanas and the XRPs of this world. But you have to find a system that's producing at a very good rate that you can accumulate and go use to diversify. So anytime new sales comes in at a V4, you get extra 6% a day on what they make. This is just because you shared, right? Now a V5 is someone who has 100,000 in volume. We all get the 10% on our directs, right? Now you have 50% of your team's daily ROI. You already know the difference. But to be a V5, you need 2 legs. You need to have at least one leg that's a V4 and one leg that's a V3. So in order to be V5, right? in order to be a V5, you need to have a V3 or a V4. And you need to have a, what's going on? You need to have a V3. So you only need 2 legs to max the entire compensation plan. Can you go wide? Of course, you can have more people wide because now at the V5, you would make the full 50% on any investor who is wide, who hasn't hit any rank. So if you got people making $1,000 a day wide, you get 500 a day from just those people wide to you. But focus on getting to the ranks first, and then you can build wide. Okay, that's the strategy we are using. So because of that, we've been helping people in our team. You get started, we are just building 2 legs down. So we've been able to place, over 20, 30 people in other people's legs, right? And that's what we do, once again, in our community to help people to win, right? Now let's go on to the next. V6, right? V6 is someone who has 200,000 in volume. You have a V5 and a V4, okay? So you see the different bonuses that you get. You already explained that. And it goes all the way to V10, right? You have 4 million in sales and you had 100% check match, right? And then they have V10 plus. A V10 plus is someone who has 2 V10s in different teams. Now, the other qualification, sorry about that, guys. Let me do this. Okay, the other qualifying legs don't have to be your directs. So anyone on your team, they could be 5 levels deep, 10 levels deep. As long as they hit a rank, you move to the next rank. So that's the beautiful thing, right? And V10 pluses are rewarded massively. Okay, so that is the entire compensation plan, folks. Let's look at something here. What are we looking for? Okay. Now, this is projected income, right? No one is saying this is guaranteed because if you don't put in the work, you don't get the results, right? But if you do, which is what we are doing, personally myself, I slept at, I think, 2:33 a.m. in the morning today. Why? Because I was just trying to communicate with a few people. I was helping people even past midnight. That's part of team building, and it has its rewards, right? So if you do put in the work, yes, this is what you can earn. As a V1, you can earn up to $500 a month, even more. Remember, this is the whole thing is you're creating 2 teams, right? And that's all you need to hit all the ranks. But if you happen to have more people wide who never rank up eventually, you would make a lot more than these numbers you're seeing here because you're getting a percentage of all these people's daily earnings. You get the full thing, right? But in order to grow, first, you want to focus on getting to the ranks. That's the most important thing, right? Get to the ranks first. Don't just throw 100 people wide and expect things to just at least try to focus on hitting those ranks, and then you can go wide, right? Now, V2s, remember, V1 is only 2,000 in volume. So for 2,000 in sales, if you can do $300 a month, I think that's life-changing. That's life-changing for someone who can only do 2,000 in volume, right? If you can do 10,000 in volume, you could be looking at $500 to $2,000 a month, right? V4 is 20,000 in volume. If you can do 20,000 in volume and you can earn $2,000 to $5,000 a month, I'll be excited, right? If you can do 60,000 in volume, right? And you can earn $5,000 a month to $8,000 a month, I'll be excited too, right? And the V5s are doing about $25,000 a month. This is my goal personally. In the next 3 months, I need to be at least a V5 earning 25,000 a month. And the only way that will happen is if I create and help create multiple V1s. And that's why we are helping people on our team. We want people to win, because when you help others win, you are literally guaranteeing your own success in life. So that is the mindset I've always had, because I'm already going to put in the work. But I know that if I help others do it, I get there automatically. And you can do the same. Just have the right mindset and just duplicate as a community. V6, you could be at $60,000 a month. In fact, if you're here and you know that these kind of numbers are life-changing, you can put a 5 in the chat, right? At a V7, you could be at $80,000 a month. Folks, remember, this is a decentralized staking protocol. There is no, the company turned off the website and took our money situation here. It's most likely not to happen because of how we know these decentralized blockchain systems are built, right? They already have an audit. You can go look at the audit, right, on Certic. Now, the other thing here is, people say, well, the price of the coin can go down. Yes, just like any coin. Bitcoin went up to 130,000. Where is it now? 60. Will it go back up? If you hold it, yes. But there's a lot of utility here because the token is going to be used on the bank card. So some people might not be selling. They will just be spending, which will help maintain a stable price on the coin long term. So that's the good thing we have here. V8, you could be doing $100,000 a month. V9, you can make $250,000 a month. A month, guys, a month. A V10, easily, you could be making $500,000 a month. And V10 plus, God willing, in the next 12 months, we could see at least 10 people do this, right? If we work as a team, at least 10. And then we'll have tens and tens and dozens of people here, and dozens and dozens and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people from V1 to V6. That's what we want in our team, right? But at that point, if you achieve the rank of V10 plus, you could be taking home an easy $2 million a month. That's over $24 million a year. You are more than an athlete. You are more than a movie star if you're making these kind of numbers. And all you did was share with two people who share with two people, who share with two people, and then later on, maybe some other people joined you, and that's it. That's it. You didn't have to go work a 9 to 5. You didn't have to go to take a course for 3, 4, 5 years, 7 years to do this. Sorry about that. Let me go ahead. Okay. Yeah, so that's the entire comp plan. Now let's talk about the ability to withdraw your commissions, because now you've made these profits. Now you want to withdraw, right? Because that's very important. If you work hard for your income, you gotta withdraw it, right? So for those that are building teams, we get our commissions, our team commissions, faster than our ROI, because the ROI you have to wait for 20, or is divided in 20 pieces. With the commissions, is only divided into 7 pieces. Okay, if you want it expedited, there's the 25% burning fee. Once again, the burning fee helps the entire ecosystem. 50% of that is destroyed, is removed from circulation, reducing supply, increasing the price, keeping it stable. And the other 50% goes back into the liquidity of the ecosystem to help keep everyone making money. Right? So that is all you're doing. It's not going even to a company or somebody. It's going back in the ecosystem. Right? So definitely you want to withdraw, and you definitely probably want to always make sure they're burning a fee so it helps everyone, right? So we'll talk about how this works, the 7 days. So for example, you earn commissions, right? You earned $10,000 in commissions, or $1,000 or $100, whatever it is. They will, if you put in the 7-day release, they burn 25%. So in this case, you have 7,500 left. This is in Jupe, okay? Jupe is about $8.50 a coin. but we're just going to use this number, okay? So now that they burned the 25%, you're left with 7,500. This 7,500 will be divided into 7 pieces. It will be divided into 7 pieces, and you get 1 piece of it every day. And by the end of 7 days, you have received all 7 pieces. So that is how that works, okay? So, if you're here and you end up withdrawing some commission and you say, I didn't see it on my wallet, folks, please, information is right here. You get a piece every day till you get the whole thing in 7 days. So let's be well informed and inform our teams as well, so there's no misinformation and disinformation. Now, when you trade your USDT to JUP through the swap right here, we talked about the swap. Everything is going to be done on your back office, folks, okay? So once you get the link and you just in your back office, you can do everything. So if you move USDT to JUP, there's no fees. If you move JUP to USDT, the system has to make money, because now you're taking the liquidity out. They're going to charge you an extra 5% fee, okay? And at the 5% fee, this goes to the ecosystem for development, and this goes back to the partners or the teams for profit sharing, okay? So the community. And that is it, folks. Easy to apply system. Once again, this entire system is on the juchain, okay? Let me go on the juchain. So somebody asks, oh, I don't see it on Binance. Yes. I don't see it on Ethereum. Yes. They have their own blockchain. Why would they use somebody else? You have your own house. Why would you wake up and go sleep in somebody else's house? They have their own blockchain. Everything we are doing is on their own blockchain. You can use your MetaMask, your token pocket, and it will connect and add this chain to your wallet. Then you're going to fund it with the gas fee token. It's called JU. The gas fee token is called JU token. Okay? You can get the JU token from the centralized exchange called Ju.com, where you can get with the person who invited you. They will probably have a code for you to join the centralized exchange, and they will have an actual blockchain link for you to join the staking protocol. These are 2 separate things. So don't go on here thinking you're staking. You stake here on the blockchain. Here you can buy coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever. You can trade futures. But if you want to get the Ju token for the gas fee, you can come right here and buy on the exchange. Or you can get with the person that invited you. What we are doing is we are sending out gas fees to everyone who wants to join on our team, just so you don't have to now go figure out the gas fee. And then that way, all you have to do is get your USDT, either from the Binance Smart Chain or the Ethereum chain, and you can transfer it, we call it bridging, into the juchain. So you don't have to know how to do all of this. There's videos, there's screenshots. All you're gonna do is go step by step, make sure all your crypto is in your wallet. All you're gonna do is gonna come on JBank, sign up. You're gonna bind to your sponsor, right? The first thing is to bind. So your sponsor's link is gonna show up here when you connect. If it doesn't show up here, folks, do not bind. Contact the person who invited you to make sure you have the right link. After you bind, then you would come here to bridge. In case you didn't use the exchange to buy the token, you just go to bridge and you can do what's here and move any USDT you have, either from Ethereum or from Binance, into this chain. It's just like takes 2 minutes. You don't just click, type amount, click. That's it. Not too hard, right? And then once you have it bridged, you will come to swap, all right here. And you will swap that USDT for Jupe. And once you're done, you will come to staking and you will stake your JUP. And you're good to go. You choose, whichever you like. I'm sticking to this because why not? not here to make the least. I want to make the most, right? So you can do the same. So folks, that is the entire ecosystem. I'm going to stop sharing. Going to stop the recording.